Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am so happy to be here with you today on the live stream. So, as usual, as you come in, please leave a comment down below just saying hello. Maybe tell me where you are in the world or why you're here today. And I am excited to see your comments. So today, oh, we already have one. Lolly Lolly. Hello, Lolly Lolly. Hello from France. Hello. Thank you so much for joining our live stream today. And Pedro, another long term viewer. Hi, Pedro. I'm so glad to hear that you're looking forward to the lesson today. So we will just wait maybe one more minute while we have some more comments coming in. Um, oh, here we go. I see quite a few more. Yes, hello again, Pedro. Hello, hello, hello. Lots of hi, hi, hi. Hello, hello. And also, guys, oh, thank you. Thank you so much for your compliment. Thank you. I hope you enjoy today's lesson. So, guys, as your hellos are coming in, we'll just pop them up. Oh, over there. And I just want to remind you if you are joining the live stream today and it is past the hour, so maybe where you're viewing, maybe right now it is 10 o'clock, maybe it's 11 o'clock, maybe it's 4 o'clock. If it is after the hour, then you are late to the live stream. So make sure to go forward to where we are so you can keep up. If you show up 5 minutes late, go to 5 minutes at the live stream, okay? So you can keep up. And at the end, I can see your comments and questions, and you won't be commenting after. So lots of great comments coming in from Bangladesh, from Afghanistan, from Cambodia, from Nigeria, Philippines, Laos, wonderful Malaysia, Vietnam, Egypt. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. So today, today I'm going to give you guys a lesson about learning English, of course. So often on my live stream, I like to give you guys tips and advice about how to make learning English easier. What can you do? So, some of you who have been watching my live streams for a long time, maybe some things will sound familiar to you, but today I've put it all together into an easy 4 step program or path or way of learning English easily. Okay. So, as usual, please make sure to leave your questions down in the comments during the live stream, during the lesson. And after, I will go through and answer your questions. Okay. If I am talking too fast or anything like that, just leave a comment. Let me know. It is important to me that you, of course, understand. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Just a moment. Okay, here we go. Okay, guys, so you should be able to see my screen. So today we're going to learn, this is actually based on a really good TED Talk by the same name. And in it, there are some really great tips about how to learn a language. And I'm going to apply it today to learning English. So, the secrets to learning English. How can you learn English effectively? If you guys are interested, the woman's name is Lydia Makova. So I'll put her name in the comments after so you guys can check out her talk. But today I'm going to review the 4 ways to learn English effectively. So let's go ahead and begin. Teacher, how can I learn English? This is the question we get the most on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. So, very often on videos posted on live streams like this or the one with Dr. Don, we get a lot of questions asking, how can I learn English, right? How can I be better? So, we have posted many videos and done many live streams like this about improving your speaking, improving your listening, reading, and writing, being more confident, and just generally becoming better at English. So, today I'm going to try and take all that we like to talk about on our channel about becoming better at English and put it together into these 4 easy steps. So, how to learn a new language. How to learn English. There are 4 steps: enjoyment, methods, system, and patience. So, we will go through and talk about each of these one by one, how they are important, what does it mean, and how can you use it to really go to the next level with your English. Okay, so let's begin with number 1, enjoyment. So, what does this word mean? Enjoyment in this, oh, let me find my mouse. It's somewhere. There we go. We see the word enjoy. And in enjoy, we see the word joy, right? Happy. So if you get enjoyment from something, it makes you feel happy. You like to do it, right? You enjoy it. So step 1 is enjoyment. This is truly step 1. It is the most important. So before we talk about any other steps, you must enjoy what you are doing. So if you do not enjoy learning, if you don't like learning English or the way that you're learning English, you will not want to do it, right? You will stop, you will not be interested, or you will feel that, oh, I have to study. Oh, I don't want to, right? We don't want that. We need to make sure that no matter what, you are finding a way to enjoy learning. Because again, if you don't, you're not going to want to do it, right? So, how can you do that? What does that mean? Often, when we think about studying English or studying any language, we think of things like memorizing vocabulary, studying grammar rules, things that maybe you enjoy doing. I know I love learning new vocabulary, but not everyone wants to sit down and memorize 10 words a day or 20 words a week or what have you. Or maybe the way that they're doing it, flashcards or, oh, grammar rules, right? Maybe you don't enjoy that. So you have to think about this question. What do you enjoy? Maybe you enjoy reading fiction books, meeting new people, going to coffee shops, playing sports, playing video games, watching TV, watching movies, photography, which is taking pictures, right? Painting, or listening to music. Or maybe there are so many more things, right? So, right now, as you watch, think about this question. What do you enjoy? Anything. What are your hobbies? What do you like to do? What do you enjoy? Okay, so think about it for a minute. So for me, for example, I love to read. I read almost every day. I love to go to coffee shops. I love playing games, watching movies, so on, so on. What do you enjoy? Anything, right? There are maybe 1 million more things we could add to this list. Okay, so now that you have thought about maybe 3 to 5 things that you enjoy. Now add English to it. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, that brings us to step 2, which is methods. Okay, so now that you have thought of some things you enjoy, we need to take those activities and add learning to them. Okay, a method is a way of doing something. You must use your interests to choose your learning methods. And notice here, oh, sorry, guys, I always lose my, there it is. Your interests, your methods. What does this mean? Your methods will be unique or special to you. So you will not have the same methods as me. Maybe we'll have one similar method, but they will be different depending on what your interests are. Okay, so we're going to make some methods. Another great thing to do if you're having a hard time is talk to others about how they learn too. You can also just use a search engine like Google to look up how to learn methods, study methods. Or maybe, again, I gave the example of movies. You can just search how to study English using movies, how to study English using blank, right? And you can find some interesting methods and find one or two that works for you. So, next, now that you have thought about what you enjoy, let's talk about some methods. So, here are some things that I might enjoy, right? I like reading fiction books. I like going to coffee shops. I like playing online games. I like painting, and I like listening to music. Great. So, these are all things that I enjoy. So, now I want to add English to it. How can I use what I enjoy to learn English, right? Add English to my hobbies and interests. So let's take a look at some sample methods for each of these. And you can think about your hobbies and interests and how you might add English to them. So, number 1, I like reading fiction books. Well, this one's probably easy, right? You can read the English version of your favorite book. For example, maybe you really love a classic novel and you've read it so many times and you know it is available in English. Well, try reading it in English. This is a great method because you already know the story, right? So, because it's not a new story, it's easier to start to learn the language around the story when you already kind of know what's happening, who the characters are, what the plot is, and so on. Okay, number 2, I like going to coffee shops. Oh, this one's a little more tricky. If I love going to coffee shops and love drinking coffee and making it and so on, I can always study coffee culture in blank speaking countries. So, of course, if you're learning English, you want to maybe study coffee culture in English speaking countries. So, learning language is not just about vocabulary, right? Culture is language is a part of culture, culture is a part of language. So, learning the language around different parts of culture, like music culture, movie culture, in this case, coffee culture, can be a great way to learn to talk about something you really like in a second language, right? Great to always start with things that you enjoy because you want to actually learn how to talk about those things. You actually enjoy those things. Okay, number 3, I like playing online games. Okay, so what can I do to use English if I really just want to play games with my free time? You can try to play on an English server like the US server, the Australia server, whatever is close to you geographically and easy to use. Maybe it doesn't have too much lag. And play on an English server, especially games that have an open chat section. And you can type, right? Chat with English speakers, read, see what they're talking about. Though this isn't the best way to learn formal English, it's a great way to learn slang and kind of the way people talk to each other in that environment. And again, culture, right? So you can see inside gaming culture in different countries. Okay, how about painting or really any hobby? For example, let's say you really, really love painting. Read about your favorite artists' art and lives in English. So, who do you love? Which artists inspire you or make you want to paint? Well, one method you could possibly use is to read about your favorite artists' art, their pieces, right? And their lives in English. And finally, listening to music. You can explore English music and study the lyrics. So, again, each of these also has culture in it too, which is great, right? We're learning about coffee culture, gaming culture, paint, maybe art culture, music culture, and so on. So, these are all example methods. So, think about what you enjoy and how you can add English to it. Okay, so methods are the base, right? So, number one, enjoy what you're doing. Number two, make some methods based on what you enjoy. So, let's say I've chosen those 5 things, right? So, let's say these are my 5 methods. Okay, great. Read the English version of your favorite book. That's great to say, but I need to go farther. I need a system. I need to develop a system, and so do you. This means you need a study plan. So, before we get to that, so we see here a calendar, right? I can't just say, I will read my favorite English book or my favorite book in English. Okay, when? For how often? How long will you read for? When will you do it? How will you fit it into your schedule? So, if you're like me, you love having a plan, but maybe this doesn't come naturally to you. You don't really, no, I'll just do it when I can. So, for if that's how you feel, I want to tell you that this is a very, very important step. If you do not have a system that is doable, enjoyable, easy to stick to for you, then you won't get any farther. Okay, so let's talk about how to make a study plan. Your study plan should be SMART. So, what is this? This is called an acronym. That's when each letter stands for a different word. So, the S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A, attainable, R, relevant, and T, time bound. So we're going to talk about all of these, but let's take a look at what these words mean first. So, first we have specific. This means that I shouldn't just say, I'm going to read a book. Specific would be what kind of book, which book, how many pages, how often, what days, what times, and so on. Measurable. To measure something, we might think of like a ruler, right? Oh, it's 10 feet or 100 kilometers, right? But here we want to be able to measure our improvement, right? So whether that's I will read 25 pages a day until I finish the book, right? I can see my progress. Or I will study 15 vocabulary words a week and use them in my writing. Okay, and you can measure how many words you use and how many you're learning, right? Measurable. A is attainable. This means you can do it. Another word we might use is achievable. This means it's possible. You can do it. So don't say, I will study, I will read a book for 3 hours a day every day, because you probably won't, right? It probably will be impossible for you to do that. Maybe you will at the start, but a word we would use is sustainable. This means if it is not sustainable, this means you can't keep doing it. It's too much. So make sure it is doable, attainable, achievable. Okay, something you can do. Even if you only have 5 minutes a day to do something, do one of your methods, that's okay. Even just once a week, whatever works for you. The point is, you have a system and you can do it. And there's no reason that you should have to stop. Okay. The R stands for relevant. So this means that what you choose to do is it is important. It's useful, right? It is not something that you'll never use. So let's say this goes back to your methods, right? You want to choose methods that are uh, that interest you, are based on your interests, and that you will actually use the language for, right? And finally, T means time bound. So whether that's I will read this book in 2 months, or I will give myself 30 minutes 3 days a week to do it, it needs to be time bound. So let's take a look a little bit closer at what these mean. Okay, so specific. Make your goals specific and narrow for good planning, right? More effective planning. So it's, again, I could say read a book, or I could be specific and say read 15 pages of Harry Potter in English every week, and highlight the words and write them down that I don't know, and write them down on a separate place to study, right? Measurable. So you need to choose what your goal is. Is it that you want to learn more words? Is it that you want to read faster? What is your goal? Choose what you're measuring and keep track of it, right? So if you choose words learned, the number of words you learn, let's say you start off and you're learning a lot of new words, and then it stops. Well, now you can change what you're doing, right? You need to measure. Attainable. Again, make sure you can do your goal. Make sure it is possible, that your plan is doable. Relevant. It should match your goals, right? Don't do something that isn't important to you. And time bound, realistic, and have an end date. I want to do this by this time. Having smart goals is very important. Having a smart system of learning is extremely important, and you can do it. So let's look at an example of a smart learning goal for studying English, right? I've been talking about reading. So, for example, I will read Harry Potter for 15 minutes every day, right? That works for me in my schedule. I will look up words I don't know and quiz myself on new vocabulary each week. I will finish the first book in 2 months. Okay, great. So let's make sure we have each part specific. Yes. So I say how often, 15 minutes every day, vocabulary quiz each week. Measurable. Well, I'm quizzing myself, right? I'm checking my learning. And if I'm not doing very well on my self-made quizzes, well, I can change what I'm doing, change how I'm reading, give more time to it. Attainable. Well, 15 minutes every day is attainable for me, and 2 months, that works. I can do that. Are relevant. Well, I always loved Harry Potter, and I know that there's a lot of really good language in there, so definitely relevant. And time bound, yes. I have my daily goal, my weekly goal, and how long it will take me to complete. So use this as an example for how to create your learning system. Okay, so of course, you have to enjoy the methods you use to and develop a system using them. And that's great. But the last step here is patience. This means being okay to wait, right? You should not expect to learn the entire English language in 2 months. You can't do that, but you can make progress. This is again why that M, measurable, is so important. If you are studying and practicing, but you are not measuring your progress, it will be more difficult to see how you are improving. So keep track. This might mean something like recording yourself, keeping a journal. Let's say you want to work on your writing. Keep a journal. Get a notebook and write in it at the end of each week, maybe. And then as time goes on, you can look back and maybe see your earlier mistakes. Oh, I know that I shouldn't have done that. Now I know what's right, and maybe you can even fix it, right? For speaking, maybe try to choose something to describe or talk about or a certain topic and record yourself on your phone or on your computer. And then come back to it maybe 3 months later and see, oh, yes, I've gotten better. Or if not, that's okay. That just means you need to change your methods, right? And with reading, you can search and find books, the English level, the how hard different books are to read. So maybe start very easy, right? And slowly, very slowly work your way up. And that's a great way to keep track of your progress as well and to help yourself feel patient. So remember, you should enjoy what you're doing. Use your hobbies and interests to create unique, special methods. Take those methods and put them into a well planned system and be patient with yourself. And don't be afraid to change, right? If you develop a system and it's not working for you, change it, right? You may end up going back and forth between these two things again and again. And you may, over time, find also different methods that work for you. So just keep going through. This is not a one-time thing. You're going to have to change because you will change. Your interests will change. Your schedule or job might change. So just be willing to always change these steps as you go on as well. All right. So those are the main four, but there is a fifth that I would like to add, and that is high expectations and self compassion. So I think that it is very important to set high goals for yourself, but also don't beat yourself up if you don't meet those very high goals you set. But you want to make sure you are trying to do something you know you can do, but that's going to be challenging, right? We want to challenge ourselves. So you should acknowledge or recognize, no, yes, this is hard. English is hard. Learning a second language is quite difficult, especially if you do not live in a country where you're hearing that language all the time. So if you are learning English and you live in England, well, it will be a little easier for you because you have to use it every day. You see it on signs, you hear it on the radio, TV, movies, everywhere. You're surrounded by English. But if you are learning English and you live in Pakistan, for example, I saw someone on our comments today saying that that's where they're watching from today. Well, you probably don't hear as much English, right? It's going to be more difficult to seek it out, learn from it, and you really are more responsible for your learning. So it really falls on you. So it is hard, but still set high expectations and big goals for yourself. Trust that you can do it, that you are capable. But also, don't beat yourself up when it takes longer than you think to reach those goals. Maybe my goal is to pass a certain level of a TOEFL test or TOPIK or not that IELTS or some English test. Maybe there's 5 levels of a test, and I want to pass level 3 by the end of the year. And I'm working really, really hard, and I don't pass. Well, maybe I got to like 2.5. That's still really good, right? I'm still making progress. So make sure to set high expectations for yourself. And if you don't meet it in the time you want to, be patient, right? Persistence is the key. Keep going. As I showed you on the last slide, you might have to change your methods, change your system again and again until you find what works for you, but you will find something. If something isn't working for you, try something new because you may be just one step away from finding the methods and systems that help you to meet your goals. Okay, guys, excuse me. Thank you so much for watching. And now I'm going to close my window here. So now that I have finished the lesson, please leave your comments, your questions. What are your English questions? Okay, I'm gonna exit out here. Okay. Hi, guys. So I'm going to now, let's look through. So here, Karam, I really enjoy listening to music and photography. Those are wonderful hobbies. So think about how can you add English to those hobbies, right? So English, of course, or music, of course, listening to English music, trying different genres of music, and listening to, looking up, studying the lyrics. Photography, maybe learning the vocabulary around photography. There's a lot of it, and it's often complex, more difficult vocabulary as well. All right, let's see. I enjoy listening to gospel music, fishing, and swimming. From Samuel, thank you. So again, music is an easy one. Fishing and swimming, those might be things that it's going to be more studying vocabulary, or let's say you're learning about fishing, for example, or swimming, learning about the names of different things. You can practice talking about them in English and so on. You enjoyed the live stream. Good. I'm so glad to hear it. So nice to see you guys here. My hobby is chatting about the English language. Well, there you go. So talking to others is, of course, really great. Speaking English to other people is probably the best way to practice English, but maybe you don't have that opportunity, or you're not around others who are speaking English. You can always do self-talk, things like that. So that's something we've talked about in previous videos. Let's see. I enjoy walking on the hills here in the Philippines. Oh, well, that sounds beautiful. Thank you, Evelyn, for your comment. Let's see. Looking through. Thank you, guys. This might just take me a minute. I see my brother made a short appearance on the live stream today. Okay. Oh, yep, there he is. That's my brother. How nice of him to stop by. Thanks, Sean. Let's see. I'm looking through. Okay, so oh, I see a question at 9:26. What does quiz mean? So I mentioned, yes, thank you so much for putting up that comment. So I mentioned with the example of a SMART goal, let's say I choose to read Harry Potter and I highlight or maybe I have my notebook, right, and I write down words and their meaning and I study them, right? So to quiz, a quiz is like a small test, right? So maybe let's say I have on one side I have the words in English and let's say my native language is Spanish, so maybe I have the Spanish over here right next to it. So number 1, right? Hello, hola, right? Whatever your words are. So a quiz would be like covering up the Spanish words, right? And then going through the English and okay, this means this means this until I really, really know the words. I might also try to write sentences using the new words to show that I know how to use them. Or I might make flashcards and test myself on what those words mean. So a quiz is like a small test like that. And you can quiz yourself however you want, really. Okay, thank you for your question. Looking through. So, we got a question actually just now. How to speak English fluently? Thanks so much. So, rewind and rewatch. So, to speak English fluently, again, the key is to develop a system of learning using methods or study ways that you enjoy and to be persistent. It takes time. Be patient, be persistent. I think another thing that I want to mention with improving your English is to focus on your personal goals, but also know that sometimes there are no shortcuts. Some things just take time, especially something like maybe let's say your English is good, but sometimes you make some small grammar mistakes. Well, that's the kind of thing that comes with time. Just like if you think about when you were a child and you were learning your native language, let's say you're learning Vietnamese, right? You didn't just one day magically speak perfectly, right? It took time. You made a lot of mistakes as a kid, and the people around you gently told you, like, oh, no, no, this is how you say that, right? So it will be the same way with learning English. Just like when you learned your first language, when you learn your second, or maybe it's your third or fourth or 10th language, it will take some time to learn what sounds right. And sometimes people will say, oh, do you mean this? Oh, yes, that's what I meant to say. So those small, don't be afraid to make mistakes, right? It takes time. Alrighty, guys. So a lot of again, I see a lot of things about how do I improve this one aspect: speaking, listening, reading, writing. So again, that's what this lesson is about. Make sure that you are, if you want to improve your reading, then you have to make a system where you read something you enjoy regularly, right? Make sure it's a SMART goal so you can rewind back to that part of the lesson where we're talking about a SMART goal, right? SMART methods: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time bound. Those 5 things. Make good, high expectations, good, big goals for yourself, but that are smart, doable, achievable, and then work towards those goals, right? Okay, guys, on that note, I'm going to, oh, this is a good question. So I see at 9:39 how to remove a negative mindset for English learning. So this is a great question. Uh, I want to really take a moment to answer this question as well as I can. So I think there are many reasons why anyone might feel have a negative mindset about English learning. So let's talk about a few of them. Number 1, you have no choice but to learn English. So when I lived in Korea, for example, students start learning English in elementary school and they have to take English for their first year in college, at least at the university where I taught. Because they have to do it, some students really like it and they find enjoyment in it and they just really want to do well. But some students just felt, oh, why do I have to do this? I don't want to be here. This is terrible. Okay, so that's one reason. Another reason might be that you don't enjoy the learning process, right? So let's talk about those two things. There's more, but we only have so much time. So, number one, let's say you feel negative about it because you have to do it. You feel that you have to do it, right? Maybe you do have to do it, like my students in Korea. Um, to move past the negative mindset about this is why this brings me back to the first step of uh, the 4-step plan I talked about today, which is enjoyment. So often, if you are in a normal classroom, you're probably studying vocabulary, you're studying grammar, right? Grammar rules, things like that. Maybe you don't enjoy those methods of learning. And that's okay. So you don't have to force yourself to like those methods, right? If you have a teacher who's doing grammar, and you just don't like it, that's okay. But don't let the fact that you don't like studying grammar turn into you don't like learning English as a whole, right? It just shows you this is not the way that I want to do it, right? So, which brings me to number 2, the second reason you might have a negative mindset, which is you're just really not enjoying what you're doing. So, what does that mean? That means that you have to find ways that work for you. So, if you maybe let's say you have to learn English. Maybe it's because of school, maybe it's for a job or university or what have you. You have to learn it. The best thing that you can do to remove your negative mindset is to try to find enjoyment in the process of learning, right? There will probably still be that little twinge of, oh, why do I have to do this? But if you do what you enjoy, so let's say I really love watching um, Lord of the Rings. I don't know. I can't think of anything right now. Let's say that that's my favorite movie and I love watching it. Well, something I could do is go and watch that movie with English subtitles and with my first language subtitles and just kick back and relax and enjoy watching it and try to read along and things like that. Some passive learning, right? There are many ways that you can find enjoyment. Um, and the last thing here, and then we'll finish. This will be my last question, guys, because this is a big one. The last one is maybe you feel nervous about using English, right? So we call this the affective filter. This means that your kind of your guard goes up. You don't want to use English. You feel nervous speaking English. You're worried. You're nervous. You don't want to use it. This is probably the number one problem for English or second language, not just English, right? People learning second language. The number one problem is fear, anxiety, um, fear of judgment, fear that other people are going to judge you for not being good at using their language. So that's a tough one to get over, but a couple things. Number one is practice. The more you do it, the more you do it, even if you feel nervous, if that's why you have a negative mindset, you're feeling, oh, I don't want to. I felt that way in Korea when I first got there. I felt nervous about speaking Korean because I am not good at it. So I felt nervous about using it. Oh, this person. And sometimes people did judge me. How long have you been in Korea? You only know that much. But at the end of the day, that doesn't matter, right? As long as I can communicate what I needed to, then slowly I improved. The less I practiced and the more nervous that I got, the lower my level was. I couldn't grow if I wasn't practicing. So even if you feel nervous, make yourself do it. And at first you'll feel, oh, uncomfortable, or but you'll find that most people, 99% of people, smile, they're happy that you're trying, they understand what you mean, and they'll help you along, and you will learn from it and feel more confident. So that's something you just have to force yourself through. Okay, guys, that was a great question. Everyone has so many good questions. I wish I could get to all of them. But I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming to the live stream today. I hope that you enjoyed today's lesson, and I and again, just like with all other lessons, you can always go back, rewatch, review. Okay, and I do encourage you to do that. So remember, enjoy it, develop methods based on things you personally enjoy. Make a system that's doable, time bound, works for you, and be patient. Okay, there's no fast forward button. Okay, so that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you guys later.